Friday. Okay, turn. Ooh, that's tight. Come on, straight. Turn a little bit. A little bit. Our next stop was the old Union Schoolhouse that was originally built in 1886. That building burned down in 1927 at 10 o'clock on a school day while the children were in school because of the chimney flue. They rebuilt this current building in 1928 through 1929. It cost $1,000 and they paid for it over a 10-year period, paying about $130 to $140 a year.
That's when they rebuilt it. Now, I think they do community stuff here.
Oh, wow.
So it's like back then.
It was like cool in here.
Lucy.
Oh my goodness.
Mungus.
They get quite a few visitors.
This is it before it was restored, look.
At its height, the Union Schoolhouse had about 90 students. The students only went to school about 6 months out of the year because most of them had to walk to get there, and some even had to cross a swinging bridge. They didn't have an outhouse, so the boys had to go up the hill to the west, and the girls went down the hill to the east. Some kids were lucky enough to ride in trucks to get there. They learned with kerosene lamps when it was dark, and they stayed warm by one of the 2 large burning stoves that was usually lit by a 9-year-old in the class. The small rooms with storage cubbies were for their belongings and the troublemakers. During the Great Depression, the teachers would cook vegetable soup for each of the kids. They all shared water out of a bucket, shared the same ladle, and if you couldn't finish the water in the ladle, you had to toss it. The upstairs acted as a Mason lodge, community center, and church. They would only have church on Sunday nights when they had a visiting pastor or evangelist that would come. The school consolidated with Lamar School District in 1944, which was 9 years before the Union School got electricity. The building was deeded to the Mount Levi Community in 1947. You can find them on Facebook at Union Schoolhouse, Mount Levi, Arkansas. They said this entire place is only kept up by donations and volunteers. So just have a handful of people who donate and stuff. So I want to put a little money in the box for this. This is really neat.
It is.
Ready to get your learning on? Don't. That's an old Bible.
This is how it works. So that
Be
would
easy.
back of somebody's
He don't get caught up.
Yeah. So the other kid, this is where their back would be.
So I would have.
You want to know what that is? Correct me if I'm wrong, Wes. Isn't that where they would put their ink? That's their ink well. So they'd have their pen and they would dip it in their ink to write with. That's how old that desk is. Stop making that face. Eat the money. Oh gosh, yeah, there we go.
Eat the money. Mom, is there like old city?
Last little bit of power on my phone. I'm stopping for
A healthy snack.
a healthy snack before we get on the interstate. We don't like getting on the interstate, but we're exhausted and we're ready to get home. Here we go. Familiar view. Hey, that fell. The branch.
Well, termite did it.
It took forever.
Hey, it went and came back
It did.
with no breakdowns.
All right, here. Let me go inside and I'll turn this. I'll do the same
Sleep
shop
in the
thing.
shower.
Look who's home. Look who made it home. And so the second you pulled it into the shop, the brake light
Brake
went.
light went off, sitting right up there waiting on you to open the door.
Let's go
Hey.
take. Termite, you a beast.
You did it.
It did it. It did it.
What's the YouTube symbol?
The little play button in a bubble.
I'll do it.
Play button goes to the other way
I'll do it.
because you're pressing play. It's locked.